everybody? I know it's been a while. I hope everybody's evening going well. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I posted, things like that. You know, life goes on and things like that. So I want to talk about the NBA season so far. And I want to start off with the Luka Doncic trade to the Lakers. That trade, when it did happen, which was over a couple weeks ago, to myself, I thought personally that's the stupidest trade ever. And my reason for thinking that is because, yes, Luka is out of shape or whatever, but that has always been a problem in Luka's career. Luka always has weight issues throughout his career, you know. But that didn't stop Luka from being a great player. That didn't stop him from literally last year carrying the Mavs to the finals and things like that. Reason number two that I think is stupid is because you gave up a franchise player for somebody that's not even a franchise player. Now, don't get me wrong. Anthony Davis is a star player. He is. He's just not superstar. At one point in his career, Anthony Davis, and when he was back in New Orleans, at one point in his career, he was considered a superstar in New Orleans and things like that. But over the last few years, Anthony Davis has never really been a superstar to me because personally, with the way how AD plays, he plays more of a defensive big man than an offensive big man. And, you know, in order for you to be a superstar, you have to be able to do both. You have to be productive on offense and defense. And with the case of AD, I'm not saying that he can't be productive I'm not saying that he cannot be productive on offense. He definitely can, but can he be productive to the same extent that LeBron was in his younger years? No. Can he be productive in the same extent as KG was in his young years? When I mean KG, I'm talking about Kevin Garnett. I'm not sure how many NBA fans I got subscribed to me or whatever, but when I mean KG, I'm talking about Kevin Garnett. Because Kevin Garnett, back in his prime days in Minnesota, was a beast. And honestly, you know, I've been watching the NBA for a long time. I've been watching the NBA since I was like 10 years old. I'm 28, okay? So ever since I seen Anthony Davis got drafted to New Orleans, he has never really been like a superstar to me in the way how he plays. But even the time that people consider him a superstar, I still never really consider him a superstar. Because in my opinion, in order for you to be a superstar, you have to get your team out the first round and things like that. So I didn't understand why Nico Harrison, if I'm saying his name right, I don't understand why Nico decided to make this trade. Like, I don't understand. Luka is a generational talent. It's very hard to come across a generational talent like Luka. And to just give him away for another star player, it's not, you know, it's so bad that the whole Dallas Maverick fan base hate Nico with a passion. And I can understand why, because you give up a generational talent for a star player, and it's not the same. Like, AD is a star player, but he's not a generational talent. Luka is a generational talent. But, you know, they also probably could have did it for the money. And what I mean, they probably could have did it for the money. I mean, like, they possibly could have made like a secret alliance, you know, to start up a new team just without, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is this. Either way, the trade is crazy. And the fact that Nico Harrison trying to blame Luka for his fitness level, try to give reason as to why the trade happened because of Luka's fitness level, that's BS. Like, I think a lot of people know that's BS because literally Luka has always had overweight issues throughout his career, but that never stopped him from being a 5-time All-Star and him taking his team to the finals like last year. And then even before that, he took his team to the Western Conference Finals twice in his career. Something that Carmelo Anthony has never done. Carmelo Anthony was a superstar player, but he could never get his team over the hump. He could never get his team to the Western Conference. You know, in fact, he got his team to the Western Conference Finals, but he could never get his team to the finals. So for somebody like Nico Harris to trade away Luka, it takes really, really balls of steals and stupidity. You know, I don't know if it's balls of steals or stupidity, but I believe personally as time goes on, Luka would get comfortable at LA. He would get comfortable with the Lakers. He would get comfortable with LeBron. And he will move on and probably even win a championship with the Lakers. I don't want to put no, you know, I don't want to put that on Luka, but if he does, he does, you know. But all I'm saying is that the trade for Luka to go to LA was just stupid. And then the All-Star game. The All-Star game was terrible this year. And honestly, the last 3 years, the All-Star game has been really, really bad. Like, really bad. Like, for example, this year in particular, the All-Star game was just boring. Like, I say the only thing that wasn't really that boring was maybe the dunk contest and probably I guess they call it like the rookies versus sophomore. I don't know how that goes, but probably those two games, those are probably those two things was not really boring, but yeah, it just don't hit the same no more. The All-Star game don't hit the same no more, and they was going up to 40 points this year. This year they was going up to 40 points. Like, the teams were split into Shaq, Kenny, and it was Shaq, Kenny, and somebody else. I forgot. But the teams were split apart. And the games, all the games was going up to 40 points. And it was so unwatchable because of the commercials. Like, the commercials, the ads, all that make it so unwatchable this year. And then even when I, you know, honestly, I didn't watch the whole game. I only watched the highlights. And even watching the highlights of the game, it was boring. It was boring. And it was no defense being played. Nobody's really even trying out there. Except for Wemby. Wembanyama was trying. You know, I give him credit where it's due. Wemby was the only one that was trying. But everybody else wasn't really trying. And, like, it's really, really, like, just disappointing what the All-Star game has become over the last 3 years. I say the last, in my opinion, I say the last great All-Star game was maybe 2019. Maybe 2019. In my opinion, I think 2019 was the last great All-Star game. And the All-Star game from last year, horrible. Horrible. So fucking horrible that Adam Silver was even upset. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it's been, like, over the last 3 years. And I feel as though, like, if the NBA don't change that, they gonna lose even more fans than what they losing now. Like, you know, everybody, it's a lot of people that still love basketball and things like that. But it gets to a point where, like, why even pay to go see players play when a lot of the time the NBA players are injured? The star NBA players are injured, like Joel Embiid, Paul George, let me see, whoever else is injured, Anthony Davis. I can name plenty more, you know. Why pay all that money to go sit and see role players and bench players fill in for the spots of the superstars that you pay money to see? I think it's not fair to the fans. I I think it's not even fair to the viewers on that people that be watching highlights such as myself on YouTube. It's not fair to us to sit there and look at clips of NBA players sitting out in street clothes and cheering their team from the side. That's just what I think. That's just what I feel. Yeah, the NBA has been over the last few years. Well, I mean over the last few years. I mean like over the last 3 to 4 years, the NBA has not really been producing. They have not really been entertaining like that. You know, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is one of my favorite young players coming up, along with Luka and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I don't really see Anthony Edwards attacking the basket, dunking on people like he used to in his like what he used to when he was a rookie or sophomore, things like that. I don't really see a lot of dunks. I don't really see a lot of entertainment value. Defense. I feel like some nights there are intense defense being played, depending on the team. But most times, like, there is no defense being played like the way it should have been. It should be played. Yeah, it kind of almost makes like half of the time when I watch these NBA highlights, it gets too redundant. It gets too redundant to watch because, like, you see a bunch of teams coming down, setting pick and rolls, find the open man, and the result is always an open 3-point shot, make or miss. Well, not always, but a lot of the time it feels like the end result is a 3-point shot instead of a layup, instead of a foul, getting to the line, you know, things like that. So it makes watching the NBA nowadays pretty redundant. Then you got the League Pass. I used to have the League Pass. I stopped buying the League Pass last year. The League Pass don't even feel like it's worth it no more because you can't really see every team that you want to see. And then honestly, for League Pass, I feel like you should be able to watch every game. No matter what team you like or don't like. You should be able to watch every game. And the fact that you can't watch every game and you can only watch some games, that turned me off from buying League Pass in total. It just turned me away from it because it's too much. It's too much money to be paying to just watch a few games and this and that and the other. So, yeah. The NBA really just needs to step up. Like, it's losing viewership. Maybe not a lot of viewership, but it's losing some viewership. And even I, as a basketball fan, I haven't really been into game. Excuse me, y'all. I haven't really been into games like that as of lately. Like, as of lately, I find myself watching different videos instead of basketball videos and things. I find myself watching different things. I don't even look at the highlights no more like that because it just feels like every game is the same thing. A bunch of teams shooting threes, and yeah, it's no variety in the NBA. Like, I watched a video by this guy called Low Post. Low Post is his content is basically about the NBA, you know, the ins and outs of the NBA. And he was just pretty much saying, like, every other team in the NBA has variety. They're different in some ways and things like that. And I want to kind of push back on it a little bit. What is variety? Like, what NBA team that gives variety, that don't shoot a lot of threes? Because in my opinion, it's none. I don't really see any other team that just mainly just take it to the hole and get fouls and things like that. I just see a lot of teams shooting threes. I see a lot of teams settle for threes instead of driving the hole. Instead of like driving, dropping it off to a passer. I mean, not a passer, but dropping off to a teammate for a dunk, a center, a powerful, whoever, cutting to the rim. Like, it's just too many teams that's trying to be like the old Golden State Warriors. And it makes the game redundant. It makes the game boring. Like, for instance, Celtics. The Celtics is a great team. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are very good players. The team is a very good team. But when I watch them, I don't feel entertained. I don't feel entertained because I see Jason Tatum dump it off to Peyton Pritchard, and he takes a couple threes. And then if he gets going, now it opened up the floor for everybody else. Now he cutting and driving to the basket, and he kicking it off to Al Horford for the corner three and this. And you know, like, when you take a lot of threes as a team, and it just makes it not fun to watch. It makes it fun not to watch that team that takes a lot of threes. Because it's like, okay, all right, JT, all right, Jason Tatum, I see you stepping back. I see you taking a bunch of threes. Okay, now cool. Now drive to the hole. Dunk on somebody. Get an and one. Do a tunt. Do something. Get animated. And that's another thing. I don't see a lot of NBA players that's animated like that. Like, outside of LaMelo, outside of Anthony Edwards, outside of LeBron. Maybe Luka also, but I don't see a lot of NBA players that have that passion for the game. Like, that have that fierce, competitive passion for the game. I just don't see it. What I mainly just see is a lot of players running up and down, and one, and that's it. And he just jogging back like it ain't nothing. I would love to see more passion in the game. I would love to see more defense in the game. Yeah. And you know, honestly, the young talent that's coming into the league, like Wembanyama, he's probably my top three that I love. As far as NBA talent, young NBA talent that I like watch, I love watching Wemby. I love watching Anthony Edwards. I love watching Luka. Even though Luka game is not the most funnest to watch, I like watching because of the IQ, the understanding of the game, and how Luka plays the game. Wemby, I love watching Wemby because of the intensity he plays with, the defense he plays with, the skill set that he displayed as a 7'5" guy. I think he's 7'5" or 7'4". I don't know, but the skill that he displays as a big man is incredible to me. So I don't really understand where the NBA is going nowadays. Like, I don't know if it's in a good place. I mean, I don't know if it's ever gonna be in a good place like it was like 10 years ago. Because right now, with the way how I feel like the NBA is not going in the right direction. That's just how I feel, though. So yeah, the NBA season as a whole has not been good. Like, this NBA season has not been good. Actually, the last few seasons has not been good. And I think the only season I felt that was good was probably back in 2022. But I think that's only because my team is the Golden State Warriors. I'm a Steph Curry fan, so that's probably why I feel like that. But I could be wrong. The NBA just not moving well. Adam Silver, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing as a commissioner, but you need to do better. But tell me your thoughts in your comments. Tell me how y'all feel. And all right. All I'm saying